Hello everyone, and here I am back with a massive update for Advancedly, and that is the freaking co-op is ready. Oh my god, it's gonna be a brief little tutorial here on how to get things set up. Obviously on the latest release, just download whatever you need and let's get started. It will basically look like this. Once you extract it, this is obviously for Windows. Installation instructions on the main page. But basically, I want to quickly give a rundown on how you can get connected through Minecraft and how you can connect through Advancedly with the receivers. Basically, one person is the host, and that is the person that creates the world and has the game files stored. In newer versions, not in Legacy, but in newer versions, everything is combined into one spot, where all the player files are just saved on the host's computer. In Legacy, it's actually still per PC, per system individually. So there's an entirely different system behind that. I want to first dive into the main setup. If you open up Advancedly for the first time, this is how it looks like. Obviously, you can just check off this as a small tutorial on how things work. You first must link your Minecraft username and click link account here. That will fetch the UUID from the official Mojang API. You can also set a display name. This is basically what other users will see. We're just going to stay on 1.16 all advancements. I'm going to check Hermes because that's going to be the fun part, to have full live tracking. Obviously, you need the Hermes mod and everything installed for that. It is also on mod check, nothing too problematic. I always like going onto this hiding mode. Also going to enable the overlay just to show a few things. There's also 2 new settings that come with the latest release. We'll look at those later. Then I'm going to have, quickly just apply the settings, Control S or whatever, have this already pulled up. And then right here, we can enable co-op. I have the full co-op documentation right here. That's the video guide that I'm working on right now. And there's a lot of stuff explained, mostly diving into how to set things up as a local network through Zero Tier. I'm going to explain that as well. But obviously, Advancedly also has an official relay server that is situated in New York and basically allows you don't have the need of being on the same network, at least for Advancedly, right? I can't host Minecraft servers. So for Minecraft servers, you still have to figure something out. But for Advancedly, you can just use the server, at least on Advancedly's end. I'm trying to make things as convenient as possible. So super nice. There's a lot of stuff that I will go through anyways. I want to first show hosting locally, right? So if we set the checkbox, we can also auto accept the join requests. I'm not going to do that. So you guys will see how that works. And basically, for hosting locally to work, usually you do it the same way for Minecraft as well. You need to be connected through the same network, through the same local area network or like VPN or whatever. There is Zero Tier. My favorite, you can also use LogMe and Hamachi, but basically I'm going to show it with Zero Tier right here. You first have to download Zero Tier, at least for Windows, it's Zero Tier UI. With Zero Tier, you can connect through the same network. You don't usually want to leak the network ID. Don't worry, I'm going to, remove this network. zerotier.com, and you just click login, create a new central, and you can see already I've created the network, but you just want to you basically create a network group right up here above my face cam. You first create a new network group, and within the network group, you create a network. This network ID up here is what every other device must connect to. Once a device comes in, you must authorize it. I would recommend giving it a name and everything, and then you hit save down here. And that way, you will have devices authorized. I currently have my main PC and the laptop to show a few things. The CT, the Zero Tier IPs, those are really the only things necessary for this. So the Zero Tier IP is basically the IP that's going to be used for the Minecraft server itself. So the receivers put in exactly this. You might also have to put :25565 or some other port as the IP if it's not default, but 25565 is default. So if you use the force port mod, putting this exact IP, that is the host, on the receiver side will already allow you to connect. And so for hosting locally on Advancedly, basically here, put the Zero Tier IP. So you just right click, go through this, copy that, and paste it in here. You can also reveal it, and there you go. That's the IP. It's going to actually complain if the format is incorrect or whatever. Then you can optionally put a public IP. This is when you use a port forward method, or you can also put a domain here. You still have to put the private IP, but you can also put a domain here. If you know how that works, it's not too complicated. You can put a public IP here, and that is going to be used for the room code. Port 12345 is default. You might also have to allow an inbound rule in the Windows firewall settings. That is actually all explained on the tracker main page. So if you scroll down, also in Advancedly itself, you have open co-op documentation. If you click that link, it will get you down here as well. And further down, it will tell you how to set everything up IP-wise, and especially the firewall rules, also for Linux and macOS. But there it's not as big of a deal. But specifically for Windows, you have to allow inbound rules. Yeah, 12345, which is what Advancedly uses, and 25565 for Minecraft. This is only something the host has to do. It's very important that you set it public. Public might be enough. I still mention everything here, but public might be enough. So just follow this on the host system to make sure. This is mainly for Windows. On other systems, it might not matter that much, even though the instructions are here regardless. Just so receivers can connect to the host flawlessly, right? Once this is all set, you make sure to apply the settings. We have goal merging rules, but basically these are the rules that are going to be used for the combined player view. For advancements, it automatically, completes an advancement if any player has it. For complex advancements, so some with these criteria, it automatically tracks the player that has the most criteria. So if anyone starts breeding more mobs than somebody else, then it's going to track that player. For multi-stage goals, it just tracks across all players globally, so it doesn't ever get stuck. For counters, well, they just kind of are per player or all players. They're kind of independent because counters just track how many of a set of goals have been completed. Could be anything, right? And then you have a few options. For stats and substats, you could either have it track the player with the highest value on a specific stat, or even have it combined, which is quite interesting. And then for stat and custom goal checkboxes, we only have stats here right now. You could say the main view is only controlled through the host, or everyone, same thing with custom goals or counters. So I might actually switch over to the test template here. It's very important that everyone uses the same template version. So the receiver and the host must be on the same template version. Same setting for the Hermes mod, or same setting for the stats per world mod for Legacy Edition. Then we have, the same category and optional flag, and display name doesn't matter, language doesn't matter, because those are not functional. This explains the template matching right here. So you can see, like, it really just goes off of functional parts within the template. So it ignores like display names, icon paths, manual layout stuff, decoration stuff for the manual layout, and certain flags and like display order. That does not matter. Really, only the thing that are functional have to be the exact same within templates. Otherwise, the receivers can't join. Here, we also have stats and custom goals, which you can define here. Increment and decrement counters. I'm definitely going to switch this around, so it's going to be decrement and increment. You can just set the buttons, and if you press that while being in the tracker, it affects the counters here, right? And for, the receivers, they can set the hotkeys individually, but they must be on the same template. If we go back into co-op, I've set this all up. We can now, let's make this cumulative. We start the lobby, and now you can see it always applies the settings, just how it has to work. And you can see now lobby is active. The player limit is currently at 32, and you can obviously disconnect, blah, blah, blah. A lot of stuff is grayed out now. You also can't edit templates. It's also going to display a warning if you try to exit. And now you copy the room code. The room code is going to look like this. It's basically kind of an encrypted version of the IP and the port. Then this is exactly what the receiver is going to need in order to connect. The receivers must obviously also check this host locally, and then they can just click paste room code. Both the host and the receiver are always using the latest version of Advancedly to assure full functionality. And now I basically just pasted the room code on the laptop. There's just a simple button. You copy it and you simply paste it from clipboard. Since I don't have the auto accept join requests, the host has to accept it. And now I'm going to join as my laptop. My laptop is actually getting a warning. I am using the wrong template on the laptop. I have to switch to the template, to the test template, and then reapply the settings, join again, and this time it works. Also making sure that Hermes is the exact same. Good. And now, as the host, I could also kick the users. It's going to look the exact same once we're connected to the server. And now there's this player drop down the very bottom right where you can toggle between the views of the individual players, right? You can see as the host, I already have the wooded hills and the desert hills as biomes, which is the same as LNXS, but on the receiver, there is nothing because the receiver hasn't joined yet. We have the tracker right here. We're using Hermes on this instance. I'm going to create a new world. Then obviously with the force port mod, I can now say, okay, open to LAN, start LAN world. It automatically hosts on port 25565, which is the default for Minecraft. And on the receiver end, I basically just type the host's 0-tier IP. My strategy here right now is I'm using the laptop as an offline account. I have the laptop set to the UUID of the offline account. If you just want to figure that out, just launch as offline and go into the advancements folder. Then you'll see the UUID starts with like a 4 or something. Obviously, on Advancedly, the UUIDs configured on each of the accounts of the host and the receiver, all the separate UUIDs have to be different. Otherwise, joining won't be possible. Somewhere here, there we go. Now what is cool with Hermes, obviously if I give myself an iron ingot or something, it immediately updates on the tracker. It didn't update right now because we're on laptop links, but for links, it immediately updates. Or for all players, I could give laptop links a dragon egg, for example, triggering another advancement. You can see on the combined view, the dragon egg shows up. On my view, it's just the iron ingot, and on laptop links, it is just the dragon egg. Super, super nice. I'm on laptop links. I cannot adjust the stats for laptop links, but I can do it obviously for myself, right? I can set the checkboxes also for the custom goals or for the counter right here. So I haven't checked it off. Laptop links has, so everyone has full control over things individually. I can disconnect the lobby. Everyone is going to get disconnected. We can go, instead of hosting locally, we just host through the official server. So I can just start the lobby through here now. Then there is a room code that the receiver will have to join. So also removing the checkbox from host locally and just putting in the room code XN3YPY, and the laptop links is in the same way. And now it doesn't connect through 0-tier at all. It is just fully through the server. I click on the laptop links. It also updates the stats, or it updates the counts, and just quickly show the 2 new settings. I've put them into the overlay as I feel like that makes the most sense. The in-game time always showing the milliseconds. As you can see right now, it says 6 minutes and 28 seconds. If you allow this, it will also always display the milliseconds right here. Same thing applies to the overlay, right? And you can also add spacing to the time if anyone prefers that. Yeah, any combination of these settings will work. The unit spacing also affects the timer right here. The update timer, obviously the always showing milliseconds doesn't affect this update timer because I want to keep that always every 5 seconds. It's not too distracting. That's about it. Thank you so much for watching.